now we have, just to summarize what we have done so far, we got our offer letter from a great German university.
Yes.
We completed our enrollment process. We went to VFS. We
Yes.
booked our appointment, paid the visa fees. Then we opened a blocked account where we put in our money for our living expenses, where we also got our health insurance activated.
Yes.
And then we filled up our VIDEX form.
Right.
So this is what we have done so far. What comes next?
So the student also has to fill a declaration form, which also goes along with the documents. So this form has to be filled manually. So like the student has to take out a printout of that, and then he has to fill it. So this form would be a very basic form. So it's a declaration form by the embassy. So the student will be putting his basic details like name, address, then phone number and email ID, and then he has to sign it. So all of these forms go along.
So it is just about that, it is my additional contact details
Yes.
and legal representation.
Yes.
So now that this form is also done, what happens next?
So after that, the student will get a slot confirmation, and the student can go along with his all the documents. He can go to the biometric center and give his biometrics, submit his documents, and the embassy will take his passport at the center itself. And after that has been done, within 30 to 45 days, the student will hear back from the embassy.
So 30 to 45 days is
Is the
typically
standard
the time. A lot of our viewers ask in the comments about, what is the turnaround time for the visa decision? I think there is one thing which is very important, and I hear you and the other team members talk a lot about it, is the letter of motivation that we need to give as
Yes.
part of the visa application.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about, what are some of the basic things that one must keep in mind, and maybe share an example with us?
So a letter of motivation for visa versus a letter of motivation for the application is very different.
Right.
So for application, we show our intent of why we want to study in that university. But for visa, the gist completely changes. So the gist is majorly where the student intends on why he wants to specifically study in Germany, what all he's going to contribute by studying in Germany, and how this particular course is going to benefit the student in the future. So we do have a sample for that as well. So this is just a small example of how an LOM should look like. So we have mentioned about students' academic background, then we'll mention about his academic
So one thing
journey.
important here I will just want to highlight for our viewers is that it should be addressed to the
Yes.
Consulate General of the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany.
Correct.
So it's not that because we are writing this letter of motivation for our visa purpose. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, this would all be that what the student has saw in the university, his professional experience, why does he want to go to Germany, and what would be his ultimate goal to study. So all of these things would be there, which we can add in the letter of motivation. But the student has to read this thoroughly, because in some VFS centers, the student might be given a questionnaire to answer. So in certain cases, the student writes something else in the questionnaire versus
Okay, this is something very new. None of my students have had that experience.
Yes.
So you need to be very thorough with your SOP, with the letter of
Exactly.
motivation, not the SOP. Yeah.
Yes. So we have to be very thorough with that. One of my own student got a questionnaire wherein he has to mention all of these things in a written format.
But that doesn't happen every time.
Yes,
So
yes.
guys, don't be scared. It's a rare occasion, but then it means that your letter of motivation, you should be very clear about
So
it.
also there's one more important thing. So let's say in US, UK, whenever we file the visa, it's easier for us to, let's say I'm staying in Delhi, I want to go to Bangalore and give my interview. So I can do that, it's easier for me. But Germany is very, very strict about the jurisdiction. So let's say if I am a Delhi person, I would have to book the slot in Delhi itself. So if I do not have that flexibility to book it in any other state. Yes.
And my location is defined by my address on my passport.
Right.
So because I could be studying somewhere else, but whatever is the address on my passport defines my jurisdiction.
Right.
Maybe just summarizing quickly around, the visa checklist. What all do we need to carry
Right.
to the VFS center for our visa interview?
Okay, so summarizing all of that, very initial document is APS, so that's mandatory. Then we moved account with the blocked account confirmation. Then we need an updated resume of the student. And the letter of motivation is there. The offer letter is there. Then the language scores, the student, let's say if has given any IELTS or TOEFL, the student has to carry that. The students, all of the academic documents, the health and travel insurance. And then the passport is mandatory.
Of course, the passport, yes.
Yes. So the passport is mandatory, and then the VIDEX form, the declaration form has to be there.
Right. So if you have all of these documents, guys, then we are ready for the visa appointment.
Yes.
And then 30 to 45 days, they should be getting their visa. We have covered the entire process. We have shared most of the intricate details that might be required as part of it. I hope this is very informative for all our viewers. A lot of people charge, including my team also, money for helping you with this visa process. But as part of our initiative, we're trying to provide you with everything as transparently as possible. I hope you learned from it, and if you like to get educated more on the various study abroad information, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with all your friends who are looking to go for Germany and make their dreams a little bit easier. Thank you, everyone, and thanks for watching Study Abroad with Piyush.